watching K2 News on Digital.
Hello there and welcome to today's Digicast. I'm Sarah Bagby. It is July 5th. We made it through Independence Day, and now we are dealing with the biggest story, which is weather. That is the top story right now, which is why I brought Allison Gutluber in with us today. She is our K2 meteorologist, been covering it all morning.
Yes.
And this is something we're going to be covering for more than just today. The weather is big. That's what we're talking about.
The weather
it's
is
everywhere. It is hot, and you probably already knew that, but it's not letting up.
Yeah, well, I want to just start off and say that the heat wave started yesterday, 4th of July. I know you're probably outside. It was really nice out there. It wasn't too hot because we're going to get even hotter. So, I mean, overall, technically, yes, it was.
We're going to go
yesterday.
past comfort is what
We
you're saying.
are definitely going to go past comfort. Even this morning, temperatures were sitting in the 60s, upper 60s at, 5 o'clock in the morning. It was really hot out there. But I want to mention that this heat wave is going to go for possibly 5 days. It really started yesterday, like I mentioned, 92 in Portland. Now, today we're getting closer to the hundreds. I want to just talk about what it's like outside right now. So 10:53, the last reading, is 81 degrees. Now, as we go through the day, it's going to rapidly increase. Only at 10:20 was it at, 79. So we're already seeing the temperatures get up there. Today, we could get into the triple digits for the afternoon high. The thing is that it's going to be hot no matter what. We could get to 99, we could get to 98 or 100. It's just a few difference of degrees, but the point is it's going to be very hot today. Tonight, temperatures do cool down into the 60s, around 64 degrees, and then another hot day for tomorrow. The other big thing is that we have sunshine. We really don't have any clouds out there to help us cool down either. Going into Sunday, it's possibly going to be the hottest day. 103 is the forecast. We're dropping again back down into the 70s, though. So as we wake up early Monday, that's going to be probably the warmest, because 71 when you're just waking up is really pretty extreme. But 102 for Monday, staying in the hundreds possibly on Tuesday as well. Again, we still have a couple days out, so I'm going to monitor this. So are the other meteorologists here at K2 for the rest of the weekend. And then after that, Wednesday, we start to see the cool down just a bit, around 94 degrees, so it's not going to be as hot. Then we could get to the 90s on Thursday. Another thing about Thursday is some models are going 80, so we could cool down to the 80s on Thursday. The big thing is that this is going to be a multiple day event. And that's what the big issue is. It's going to be a really long event. Also, those overnight lows are dropping down. So whether it's going to be 101, 102, 103, or 99, it's still pretty close to just saying this is going to be extensive. It's going to be extreme.
Right, and it's, 98, 100, that doesn't feel like a big difference.
Exactly.
But 90 and 100 does feel like a difference.
Exactly.
And it sounds to me, with the pattern that's happening, even if we don't get to 103 by Sunday, we're still going to have that sort of trend where we're hot and then cooling down on Monday.
The big trend is that we are going up. We're going up, and then we don't really get down until Wednesday. Wednesday's when the pattern's starting to shift a little bit more. But for right now, we have a ridge of high pressure that's just building into the area.
Okay, that makes sense. And so what we're thinking about is everyone needs to stay safe, including the pets with their little paw pads. That's my main concern. And of course, there's people jumping in from the heat into cold water. That's also a health risk and very dangerous. So we'll be talking about that a lot, probably even next week. But you even have a graphic to talk about some of this.
We have a graphic to talk about the inside of a car, but you did mention the going on the ground, taking your pet out to walk. And when temperatures are up to the 90s, just the air temperature, the concrete could be up to 125. And if you looked at that 7-day, we're likely to be in the 90s for multiple days. Maybe not. That's the high temperature. It's going to get even hotter. But then let's talk about the car temperature. So if the air temperature is 90 degrees, after 10 minutes of sitting in a car, you're likely to be around 109 in that car, 119 after 20 minutes, and it just keeps going up. But I think that this graphic is important because it really just shows that it's going to go possibly up to 133 after an hour. Imagine after 2 hours. Imagine you really need to make sure you're staying safe, you're staying aware of what's happening around you. And, there's so many sad stories about people getting left behind in the car. So you really need to make sure, because of this long duration, that you're watching out for everyone and everyone you love.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you made that graphic. Thank you for that. I had no idea how exponentially it gets hot. So we actually will be talking about a little bit more in this DigiCast. And I know you're very busy. She's got her busiest day today in the next 5 days. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
One thing we're going to be having happen in all of the counties nearby are cooling shelters. So I'm going to let you know where those are right now. So there are some in Multnomah County right now, and this is 3 daytime cooling centers that are open right now this afternoon. Cook Plaza in Gresham, the Portland Covenant Church off MLK in Northeast Portland, and the Hugo by the Portland Airport. Now these centers are open at noon and they'll close at 10 o'clock. Another thing to let you know is that TriMet will be providing free rides to anyone going to a cooling center since 10 this morning. This started about an hour ago. They're offering this. Anyone who needs additional transportation should call 211. Now, the Central Library and the Gresham Library are also extending their hours till 9 p.m. where they have air conditioning, so that is also very helpful. Now, let's talk about Clark County. They also have some options as well. They have 2 daytime cooling centers. The Mill Plain United Methodist Church in Southeast Vancouver. It's open from 2 p.m. this afternoon till 8 p.m. And the Living Hope Church on Northeast Andreessen will open from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now remember, these cooling centers in Multnomah and Clark counties are daytime centers. They're not 24-hour centers, but Clackamas does have some 24-hour centers they're working hard to put in place. One is at Father's Heart, that's in Oregon City. The other is an Ant Farm in Sandy. And then on the college campus there, they are also offering it there. They're also going to have other 20 daytime cooling sites, including libraries, community centers, and some of those are available now, so you can just look on their website. You can also look on our website at k2.com. Now, lastly, Washington County. They have 2 emergency 24-hour shelters. They'll be open starting at noon today. That includes the Washington Street Conference Center in Hillsborough and the Beaverton Community Center on Southwest 5th Street. So those are all there to help people out. We are joined by Savannah Welch. Thanks for being here today, Savannah.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's always good to have you here. It sounds like you're going to be more of a regular and sometimes even hosting.
You unfortunately might be seeing my face around here a
Oh,
little
no,
bit more.
lucky us, lucky us. So first responders, they're wanting to remind you, don't leave your children or your pets in the cars unattended. Seems obvious, but we've had 7 deaths in the country. This is an international problem. 7 children died from heat waves just this year. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, this is obviously not a new problem, but it is continuing to be a nationwide problem. Even just this week, 2 children died. One died on Tuesday and another on Wednesday. The first was a 4-year-old girl she was second. So she was on Wednesday. A 4-year-old girl died after being left in a hot car. That was in Houston. On Tuesday, a 2-year-old boy died in Georgia after he was found inside a hot car. I mean, this is extreme heat we're expecting to be seeing over the next couple days, and one of the most dangerous things you can do is leave a child or pet inside a hot car. And authorities say prevention, it starts with the parents. Here's what one person had to say in Houston.
Always take precautions, try to remember where your kids are. I know some people take some precautions like leaving their phone or purse or keys to the house or something in the back seat with the children so they don't forget to check on the children before they get out of the car.
Yeah, so of course this is not just for kids, it's pets too. This is for everyone. But we also just heard from Allison the importance of not putting kids or pets in the car.
Right. I mean, as you were saying, exponentially, I mean, the weather changes so quickly inside a car. It can get 20 to 30 degrees warmer. I mean, in 100-degree weather, it takes only about 10 minutes for the inside of your car to hit 119 degrees. It could be 134 degrees inside your car after just half an hour. So it does not take that long. And for kids, their body heat, it rises 3 to 5 times faster than adults. So not only do you have it being just hot inside the car, but then the kids are overheating, and it only takes minutes for there to be brain damage or other physical ailments and potentially death, which is why I've had so many deaths over the last couple days. I mean, 2 is too many. So it's just, you really have to act fast. If you do see someone in distress, a child, a dog, a pet, even an adult that needs help, just make sure that you take action, because you don't want someone to end up passing away because of something like this.
Right. It sounds like cracking a window doesn't help. That's not the solution. So one thing I was going to ask you, Savannah, since you've been researching this all morning, is if we're in a parking lot and we see a dog stuck in a car or a kid and we're worried, can we do we have permission to kind of break open the window? Can we help?
So it depends on where you live. So yes, in Oregon, you can do that. You're protected under the Good Samaritan law that was passed in 2017. So in Oregon, you are allowed to help if you see a dog, a pet, a child in distress in a car. So you can act on that. But in Washington, it's still illegal to do that. So you can't actually act in Washington. Only law enforcement and animal control officers are able to assist in those situations. But regardless, you should be calling 911
Right.
as soon as you see something happen, because I mean, you just want help on scene as soon
That's
as you
right.
can
I'm
get
not going
them.
to stand there and watch someone or a pet, die in a
Yeah,
car.
like, you
So
need
that
to
was what I was going to
call it
ask. Do
in.
we call? So it sounds like you call
Always call.
911.
Yes.
But in Oregon, you can help out.
Yeah, some first responders have said maybe in Oregon what you could do is have somebody else call 911, and then you can try to break a window or try to first check to make sure the door is not
Right,
see if
don't
it's
break
locked.
windows
Don't
if
break
it's
it if you
unlocked.
don't have to. Yeah.
Okay,
So make
got
sure
it.
to check the door. Make sure the car is actually locked before actually going in and breaking a window or finding another way inside the car.
Okay, yeah, very helpful. Especially about, I didn't realize that they heat up faster. Pets do too. So that's
Yeah.
kind of explains some things too. Like
Yeah, and it's
they're
just
a little bit more at risk.
Yes, and it's so easy. I mean, that's the thing. People think like, how are parents leaving their kids in cars? Like, that's so irresponsible. Well, the way that cars are designed, I mean, sometimes you don't see the child in the back seat. Like, maybe you put your kid in, you're on autopilot, you're going to work, you forget to drop your kid off at daycare because you just don't visually see them, and maybe there's a change in your routine, so you're like trying to adjust to that change in the routine, but you still got your kid. I mean, there's so many things that could happen. So it really can be so easy, and it happens more than you'd think.
Right.
Parents just forgetting that their kids are in the back seat. And during weeks like this next weekend and into next week, you just don't want to make that mistake because you just don't want to put anyone at risk. and
Yeah, way
have
too
any issues.
risky. Well,
Yeah.
one thing we're going to want to do is follow the weather, right? You want to track it, make sure if anything could change. It could get hotter, it could be cooler, which would be good news, I think, in some ways. But
Right,
remember,
after this heat.
K2 is on your side. So as these temperatures continue to rise, we'll have all the information you need on our website at k2.com.
Yeah, you can just click on the Storm Tracker 2 weather alert bar on the top of the page. That's where you can find the most up-to-date forecast and more information you need to know to stay safe in the next couple of days, because it is, as Allison showed us, going to be very warm. Triple digits expected. I mean, these are the first triple digits we've seen all year.
Yeah,
So, and
but it's just
July.
not common to see it taking up the whole 7 days.
a
Just
long
looks like a
time.
lot of numbers on there right now. So
Oh, I know. In my last station in Bakersfield,
it's like that every summer.
oh, wow. The forecast for this week, because I used to do weather there, and
Mm-hmm.
so I remember doing that where every single day it started with a 1.
Oh, man.
101. Well, now it's 100, 10,
Yeah,
14.
yeah.
I mean, it's warm there.
I think climatology is showing it's getting hotter and hotter. So
It
as
is.
we're
It's not
preparing for the week,
changing,
we're
yeah.
also preparing for what we're going to do long term, So
Yeah, we can't. We have to adapt to it, to
Yep.
the change, because climate change is not changing. It's changing the weather, but it's not going away.
that's
So,
right. Make sure our ACs work. Stay safe out there. Have fun. Just be careful out there and have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you here on DigiCast next week. Have a great day.
This has been a K2 News Digicast. K2 News is on your side.